Hi everyone, Mr. H here. So today we're going to be doing a lesson on the Nutcracker Suite, which was written by Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky, which I know is a funny name, but well, he's a funny dude. So we're going to learn a little bit about the Nutcracker Suite as well as about some music. So we're going to get started. And you see all this stuff here on the stage, all of that has to do with the Nutcracker Suite. So first we're going to talk about our guy right here, Peter Tchaikovsky. He was born on May 7th in 1840, and he died on November 6th in 1896. He was born in Russia, which is why his name sounds Russian, and he spoke Russian and French, because this was back in the time where you wanted to do something fancy, you had to speak French. He was a Romantic period composer and conductor. Now, I know what you're thinking. Romantic, doesn't that mean all sorts of like lovey-dovey stuff? That's not what it means in music. The Romantic period was just a time in the world when if you wrote music or you did stuff like that, you were really emotional about it. So yeah, I mean, there was some love in there too, but it was like if you were happy, you were really happy. If you were sad, you were really sad. So his music had a lot of emotion in it, is what it means. It doesn't necessarily mean it was all love stuff. It was just a lot of emotion. Now, he started taking piano lessons at 5 years old and was really a gifted musician. I know when I was 5 years old, I wasn't taking piano lessons. I'm trying to think what I did do when I was 5 years old, but that was a long, long time ago. So I think I learned how to swim. I think so. But anyway, he was doing that when he was 5 years old. Now, some of his favorite works include the Nutcracker Suite, Swan Lake, Romeo and Juliet, The Sleeping Beauty, and the 1812 Overture. Now, almost all those, now the 1812 Overture you've probably heard because it's that one song that has the cannons in it. We might talk about that sometime later, but yeah, he wrote a piece of music where one of the instruments is a literal like boom cannon. But the rest of these, the Nutcracker Suite, Swan Lake, Romeo and Juliet, and The Sleeping Beauty are what we call ballets. So we're going to talk about the Nutcracker. Now, the ballet was written by Tchaikovsky in 1892, so it's pretty close to the end of his life. Now, what is a ballet? I've said that like 3 or 4 times now, and I haven't told you what it is. A ballet is a performance that tells the story with music and dance, but no words. If you ever go see a ballet, you'll see people dancing. You'll see some really nifty sets, you know, the stuff on the stage that tell you where they are, some really nice costumes, and the music will be amazing, but no one talks. There's no talking, there's no singing, there's just music and dancing, and that tells you the story. Now, the story of the Nutcracker, very basically, follows a girl who receives a nutcracker for Christmas. If you don't know what a nutcracker is, there's a picture of one of them right here. They're usually decorated like soldiers, and they kind of look like that, but yeah, you'd get a nut like a walnut or a chestnut or an almond or something like that, and usually they come with shells on them. And before you could buy them without shells, you usually just bought the nuts as they were, but you had to crack the nut, you know, open up the shell to get the stuff inside that you can eat. So a nutcracker was designed so that you can move a little handle on the back, which opened up its mouth, you put the nut in there, and you slam it really hard, and it would break the shell, so you can get to the nut. So that's what a nutcracker is. Anyway, this girl receives a nutcracker for Christmas. And then at night, it comes to life and takes her to a magical kingdom where she sees many magical dances and all sorts of other nifty magical stuff. So that's the very bare basics of the Nutcracker Ballet. Now, this ballet is a holiday favorite. Many groups perform this ballet during this time of year. There's almost always a ballet happening that performs usually around December. I mean, the story does take place during Christmas, so it's usually around that time of year. So it's kind of cool that we're going over it right now, since it probably would be happening right now. So we also got to talk about dynamics, which is the next musical thing we're going to talk about. This is the dynamics are what we call the volume of the music. So, you know, when you listen to music, you got, you know, you can turn it up loud, you can make it softer, or sometimes music just starts quiet and then gets loud, then gets quiet again, or kind of bounces all over the place. Well, when we're musicians, we don't say, oh, that music's loud, or oh, that music's really soft, or whatever. We say things like, the dynamic there is piano, or it's really loud, it is fortissimo. So we have a lot of these very interesting words to go with it, which we're going to look at right here on this chart. And I want you to think about while we listen to some of the music from the Nutcracker. To start at the beginning, we have piano, which is represented in music by this little, like a P symbol, and that means soft. And I know a lot of you are thinking, piano, isn't that the name of an instrument? And you would be right. We all know the piano. Little did you know, piano is actually called pianoforte. We'll get to forte in a second. And it's called that because it was one of the first keyboard instruments, you know, you can do this, that could change how loud or soft it played by how hard or how soft you pressed the key. Before then, no matter how hard or how soft you pressed the key, it stayed the same volume. So they called it the pianoforte because it meant soft and loud. So if you want something very soft, we have pianissimo. It's two P's put together, and that means very soft. Now, if we want something loud, we would say forte, which is a single F, and that means, well, loud. And if we want something really loud, we say fortissimo, and it has two F's, and that means very loud. Now, so we have soft and very soft, and loud and very loud. But what if we want something that's kind of in the middle? Well, we have two things for that. We have mezzo piano, which has the MP symbol, and that means medium soft. And then we have mezzo forte, which has an MF symbol, which means medium loud. So from softest to loudest, we have pianissimo, piano, mezzo piano, mezzo forte, forte, and fortissimo. That's how it goes from the lowest to the highest, from the softest to the loudest. Now, usually music doesn't just get soft and then get super loud and then get super soft again. Usually it kind of gradually gets louder and softer. For that, we have a couple more words. One of them is this one down here. It says crescendo. And the symbol is that weird kind of half word that says C-R-E-S-C with a period. And it has a symbol that goes like this. That means it gradually gets louder. If I'm a musician and I'm looking at the music as it's going, and I see that kind of symbol, I know that means I'm starting softer and then I'm slowly getting louder. But if we want to go the other way, start really loud and then get really super soft, we have a diminuendo or decrescendo. This usually has D-I-M, like you're dimming a light, and it has the other side that closes up. So louder and softer. So those are dynamics. Now, we're going to quickly watch a video here. Now, the name of this song is called The March of the Toy Soldiers. We're going to start, we have two videos here. So we're going to start with this video over here on the left. Right now it has a picture of a violin, a crescendo, and some cymbals. And I like this video because it shows you what instruments are playing and also shows you some of the dynamic changes. So while we're playing, I want you to think about what dynamics you hear. So we're going to start with that one. Loud, soft, what do you think? Okay. Violin, and we see crescendo, so it's getting louder. That's softer again? I think it's softer. Here's that crescendo again. Where are we going? Lots of brass. What do we call this? What do we call it? Crescendo. So that's the end of that video. So really quickly, where do you think it started when we started listening to that song? Was it forte? Was it piano? Was it in the middle? What do you think? I kind of like saying mezzo piano to piano. It was kind of on the quiet side. But did you see how many of those crescendos were there when it was the violin and the cymbals and it got louder and louder? Then when we got into the middle, I thought it got really loud for a bit. So it was forte, then it got piano again. So maybe we had some diminuendos, some of those. And it was really loud at the end. We had some fortissimos at the end when everybody was playing together. So if you noticed, the music was kind of going all over the place. So really quickly, also wanted to show you what I meant by ballet. You'll notice, again, remember, ballets, they tell a story, but they don't tell you the story. You have to see the story with the dancing and with the music. So this is a little bit of that same song, the March of the Toy Soldiers, but this is from the Royal Ballet. Now, the fun thing is, almost everybody playing in this version right here, they're all kids. They're all kids probably about your age. And they're all dancing and performing this ballet in a big audience, very big audience. So they're doing a really cool thing right now. So let's take a look. All right, so that didn't have all of it. It was just a little, don't want to restart that. It was just a little bit of that song. But did you see how many of them, like almost all of them were kids, guys. They were like kids your age. And that takes a lot of work and a lot of practice to do what they did. I know I can't do it, and I'm even older than they are. Now, the girl in the middle who had the more white dress, she was the main character. And again, she was a kid. The kids get to be the main character in this story. It's really cool. So this is actually, again, a very famous ballet that happens during the holidays. If you get a chance to see it, I hope you guys get a chance to check it out. It's a lot of fun to see. All right, well, that's all the time we have for our lesson today. Next week will be our last week before we go on winter break. So until then, stay safe, have fun, and I'll see you.